if there's ever any evidence of heaven or hell, ever any evidence of somebody raised from the dead, and you bring that evidence to this world, they're not going to believe it. I'll let you decide. But that scripture says, though they dig into hell. Let me read to you this account. In the early 1900s, and I received this in 1984, I received the letter concerning this, but, we didn't have the, internet up like it is now and all of the kind of things that were going on. In the early 1900s, a team of researchers from the former Soviet Union drilled a hole into what some think may be a gateway to hell. Dr. Viktor Azakov, a Russian geologist, was on a mission with other scientists to drill a 9-mile deep hole in remote Siberia to hear plate movements in the middle of the earth. After drilling several miles into the bedrock, something strange began to happen. Dr. Azakov states, at about 2,000 feet down, a cavern had been reached. The drill suddenly began to rotate wildly, indicating that we had reached a large empty pocket or a cavern. Temperature sensors showed a dramatic increase in heat to 2,000 degrees Fahrenheit. It is almost as if there was a fiery inferno raging into the Earth's core. We lowered a microphone designed to detect the sounds of the plate movement down the shaft. But instead of the plate movement, we heard a human voice screaming in pain. At first, we thought the sound was coming from our own equipment. But when we made adjustments, our worst suspicions were confirmed. The screams weren't those of single humans. Although one voice was prominent, we could also make out, as if in the background, the screams of thousands, perhaps millions of tormented souls. This is what they heard. Play it. What you heard just a moment ago is 39 seconds of what they actually heard on that day. Some will say, well, I don't believe that. Others will say, I've never heard anything like it. Ladies and gentlemen, don't be duped. We know it's real. That describes perfectly what the Bible talks about with weeping and gnashing of teeth. And what you heard, some will say, well, somebody made that up. They don't believe the evidence. But let's go on. The Bible talks about torment in hell. In Luke 16, verse 24, verse 10, 25, we read about the rich man who was in torment. 2 Samuel chapter 22, let's turn there. 2 Samuel chapter 22. Now, I'm going to tell you something. When I first heard that recording, I've never been able to get it out of my mind. And if you focus in a little bit deeper, you hear things that you have never heard before. 2 Samuel chapter 22 and verse 6. Verse 6 says, the sorrows of hell compassed me about. The snares of the traps of death prevented me. Now, there's nothing fun about hell. There's torment, there's sorrows. Look at Psalms 116. I think some people have in their mind, well, if I go to hell, I can handle it. No, you can't. It wasn't even created for you. You think, well, I can bear it. You've never even been out of your body. You're tripping out over that. Psalms 116, verse 3 says, the sorrows of death compassed me, and the pains of hell got hold of me, and I found trouble and sorrow. That's all you're going to find in hell. It's also recorded that there's a gate of hell. Look at Matthew chapter 16. Now remember, hell was created as a prison for the devil and his angels and those who reject God. Matthew 16, verse 18. Jesus is speaking, and he says, and I say unto thee that thou art Peter, and upon this rock I'll build my church, and the gates of hell shall not prevail against it. I'm about to show you some things, and you're going to see gates. You're going to see pains. You're going to see the chains. Matthew chapter 23, verse 33. Matthew 23, verse 33. Verse 33 says, you serpents, you generation of vipers, how can you escape the damnation of hell? There is no escape. Once you are there, there is no way out. I was blessed to read the lost books of Enoch, as it gave more detail about hell. But here's a drama presentation that is very close to what the Bible describes concerning the torments in hell. Roll it.
Can't fib on the monitor!
Mary, can you hear me?
Check her pulse.
Nothing.
Charging at 200.
Clear.
Go, go. Go again.
Charging at 300. Clear. We got her. She's back.
You're not gonna die.
Yes, let me
We're not gonna let that happen. Watch that monitor.
Let me